Hey guys, and welcome to a rather special game of Immortal Empires Total War Warhammer. I'm a Rubber Duck Warren. As you can see on the screen, there is some glorious Lizardmen afoot in battle. Alas, I shall not be controlling them. They are controlled by my opponent, the legendary, the mighty, the god-tier samurai warrior. I instead shall be bringing the forces of Khorne, in what should hopefully prove to be a bloodthirsty crusade from both of us. Now, this is a special game because it's modded. We're actually playing on a mod created by Samurai Warrior, which is to do with the capture weight of units. Now, I'm going to do a full-on comparison video between the current state of the game and this modded version of the game in probably just a couple of days. But what you need to know is low-cost infantry now have a capture weight of 2 compared to medium-cost infantry of 4 and elite infantry of 7. So Temple Guard, for example, will be able to out-capture weight skinks now. And this is trying to dissuade just the spam of chaff and also encourage a few more elite units on to the battlefield. This also goes for cavalry and monstrous infantry, and cheap hound units are casted now as expendable, so should be a good fun showdown. To complement this, we've gone rather elite, so let's get into this. For my opponent, he has Ripidactyl Riders up in the skies. We have triple Temple Guard on the low ground, one of which is the Star Chamber Guardians. And then we have Tehennowin, the boy, coming in on the engine of the gods. He has Flock of Doom, Wyton's Wild Form, and of course, the Burning Alignment. Should be a really good fun one. I mean, he's got double Ripidactyls, which I'm a little bit scared of, because in the skies, I have an Exalted Bloodthirster. Down on the low ground, we have Chaos Warriors of Khorne and double dual weapons. In the far side, we have the Hellforged Host and even more Chaos Warriors, a mixture of dual weapons and basic Chaos Warriors. The Hellforged Hosts are currently going in between Objective 3 and 1. I really want to see how my opponent switches up his army. If all of it commits to this side of the battlefield, I want the Exalted Bloodletters on this side. When the Ripidactyls go to the left, I'm just going to start floating back a little bit as well and trying to mirror them where possible. Really excited to see what this type of mod does. As I said before, I'll go into big details on like what all the changes actually are, but it's kind of an encouraging idea, at least, that I think should be played around with, even if it's not implemented in the end. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts as well at the end of this, if you think capture weight should be done on the quality of troop and not just the number of troop. It looks like there are some summons from my opponent in the form of Chameleon Stalkers. Big fan of these units in general. Very agile and fast, and likewise the Stalker is quite useful for sneaking up on your opponent. Code of Sotek have also been summoned in. I've got some Furies just in case my opponent decides to land. I then want to countercharge with the Furies. That's the main idea here. And the Hellforged Hosts are going to back away to the center, and Furies are on the run at the moment. I'm going to summon some Halberd units and start moving them up into position. 2 rows of elite warriors facing off against each other. The Temple Guard, of course, are pretty damn powerful, but I think the dual weapons will be able to carve them up relatively easily here. The Exalted Bloodthirster is going to fly along and trying to get some big shots down the side. Of course, I've got to be a little bit scared of Tehennowin. He can certainly do a number over on infantry, both as a Stegodon and also with that Burning Alignment. Unfortunately, the Chaos Furies do get caught up in the back. I'm going to do a sneaky little duck play here. I'm going to fly them over to my infantry and land to try to ensnare the Ripidactyls on the ground. We also have a bit of a breath attack go down the line on the Star Chamber Guardians, only killing a couple of models. Objective 3 is about to be mined. There is some Ripidactyls vibing over here, but with another unit of dual weapons on the way, I'm pretty confident of fending off a couple of little skinkies. Objective 1 has been claimed by me. Looks like the Furies made it to the ground a little bit too little too late. The Ripidactyls are now going to be again engaged by the mighty Halberd units, who should quite comfortably dispatch the flying pests and drag them low. At least that is the plan. The front line is about to engage. Dual weapons are falling back slightly here. The Hellforged Hosts are getting ready to rumble with the Temple Guard, and we are going for it now. Blood, thunder, and skulls is what we demand. Blood, thunder, and skulls is what we shall get. An absolute carnage down here in the center. Dual weapons trading pretty effectively, but Tehennowin comes in, and he is a nightmare for me to contend with. We do have the Exiled Bloodthirster landing to escape the presence of the Ripidactyls. Elsewhere, Chameleon Stalkers get some nice early burst damage on the Hellforged Host there, with some rear attacks from their precursor weapons. But then we're going to jump in and start chewing through the Temple Guard, and this is going to go really well for the Exalted Bloodletters, who are one of the best units in the game already. And up against Temple Guard, that's just like a perfect foe for them to take on. We do, of course, have our bigger Hellblades coming in active now, and the Temple Guard are getting shredded. Down in the main fight, Ripidactyls do land to try to surround the Exalted Bloodthirster, but the dual weapons should be able to siege them relatively easily, at least I would hope. There's a lot of Temple Guard nearby though, and they're a little bit scary. Some of my dual weapons are forced off by the might of Dehenowin. Warriors will move in to deal with the Star Chamber Guardians, or at least keep them distracted for now. Ripidactyl Riders are taking significant damage, and look at this, the Hellforge host up to nearly 100 kills already. The Temple Guard never stood a chance. Over on Objective 3, dual weapons are just decapitating little skinkies and wearing their heads as trophies upon their horns. The Chaos Warriors Khorne will jump this unit, but there's a load of skink reinforcement coming in, which is a little bit scary. But remember, guys, skinks are going to have worse capture rate than the Chaos Warriors in this mod. Dual weapons are moving forward to help support. I'm relatively secure on that far side. Things going a bit crazier in the middle. We've done a lot of damage here. Dual weapons and Hellforged hosts are actually going to take advantage though. Dehenowin has been a bit of a nightmare. He's killed a lot of my infantry, so trying to make up for this, I'm going to split my infantry and push my opponent's home objective. Go for that triple cap and try to really push him onto the back foot here. Dual weapons are supporting the Hellforged hosts who are surrounded now, but they're not going down without a fight. Look at these bad boys swinging their blades in arcs of death and destruction. Every swing severs lives of the children of the Old One. Bloodthirster does jump in as well, doing some pretty good damage, and Objective 2 is looking more and more likely to be ours. We do have a burning alignment coming in, and this is a little bit scary. I'm trying to push my troops through, and it looks like, though, the Hellforged host is going to get a little bit caught there. Nothing too crazy, however. It's more of a showcase of fireworks than anything else. And Objective 2 is ours. So we are switching objectives. Our own home objective does seem to be lost here, but there is Exalted Bloodletters on the way, and with the support of the Bloodthirster, I'm relatively confident of claiming this objective back. As on objective number 3, dual weapons are alas taking a load of darts to the face. You can see quite a few dead bodies on the ground here. The red of the cohort and the Khorne warriors mingling together in a rather horrific piece of art. Dual weapons, though, are carving their way through Saurus comfortably. They're a really good answer to a lot of Lizardmen troops, actually. I think dual weapons are going to be pretty damn useful in this matchup. They can beat, I think, all the Lizardmen infantry rather comfortably. We have more Exiled Bloodletters on the way back. A big breath attack does come down on the Temple Guard. And I do have some more Exiled Bloodletters fighting in the middle. Bloodthirster is going to dive down and just try to be a bit of a bully. Try to pick on the old Skinky and take him down. Oh my god, his skinks color scheme's crazy. Look at those little green skinks on the side. They're on a rave today. It looks like a Flock of Doom is going to come down. We're doing decent damage nonetheless, though. And with Exalted Bloodletters on the way, I'm expecting for them to deal with the Temple Guard relatively effectively. We are starting to cap back this objective. Dual weapons clash blades with the Temple Guard. Both these units incredibly beat up. It looks like the Star Chamber Guardians, though, more than enough about them to beat back the Warriors of Khorne, who you can see are getting absolutely wrecked right now. Fleshhounds are on arrival. I was actually looking for them to jump and beat up this unit with the help of my infantry, but now that we've charged a bit too little too late, it's a really bad fight for the Fleshhounds. The magic attacks and anti-large of the Star Chamber Guardians really coming into fruition. Objective 1 is being capped back. The Exiled Bloodthirster beaten up Dehenowin despite Wilson's wild form on him. There's too many Bloodletters around for him to be in a good situation. Now, our forward push did eventually falter. We knew it would happen, but it lasted a long time here, and Objective 2 is now faltering. The Chameleon Skinks have really helped drag low my warriors. We're also starting to lose Objective 3 on this far side. The dual weapons just eventually been overwhelmed here alongside the Chameleon Stalkers. And there's quite a few units in here, but we do have some Chaos Warhounds on arrival and some Furies, and the combination of them should hopefully see off the enemy. On the far side of the battlefield, a big burning alignment, alas, is spotted by me. I'm able to dodge it and simply shrug it off like it's nothing. Star Chamber Guardians fall back. Did they kill the Fleshhounds? No, they got them down to about half HP, which isn't bad at all considering how beat up they were. Dehenowin's still been a nuisance, just bounding around, jumping on top of infantry, up to an impressive 2.2k gold value now. Bloodthirster is constantly in hot pursuit, though, and my infantry can now once again push towards Objective 2, which is still technically mine at the moment. We have Fleshhounds and Bloodletters all pushing back to try to rescue this objective, but it looks like it is indeed going to fall. We're still losing Objective 3 here, despite the presence of the Chaos Warhounds bounding into action. They do count as expendable now, so their points won't obviously weigh up too much here. Chameleon Stalkers are butchered and fended off here, which is nice to see. Dual weapons versus Saurus Warriors It's just a great fight all around. I mean, the dual weapons are going to be coming out on top significantly, though. 110 kills for them, 78 for the Sarus, though, so they've certainly not been lacking either. I'm still just about losing this objective. However, with the hounds coming back in, looks like we are going to start holding on to it, at least for a little while longer. In the main fight here in the middle, Ripidactyls are finally starting to go down. Furies as well as Exalted Bloodletters are pushing my opponent's objective, but in the back, the Bloodthirster, a big whip cracks across the face of the Stegodon, and Tehenwyn flees. The great plan in ruins. There is no mighty gods to save you, only blood and carnage. And you know which god loves blood and carnage? The blood god himself, Khorne. Tehenwyn certainly going to be going down here as we crash into his rear and slap him to pieces. The mighty one doth fall, and with that, things are looking like it's going to be a solid victory for me. We're starting to push Objective 2 once again. Objective 3 is still being lost, but it's a little bit too little too late. We've been able to hold that objective for quite some time here, and a mixture of dual weapons and Exalted Bloodletters getting in the back. The Skinks never really stood a chance, and we look a little bit closer to a triple cap than our opponent does to getting one of our own objectives back. We just have too many Exalted Bloodletters on the battlefield, and it's going to be a victory for the forces of Khorne. Now, it's an interesting game all round. Of course, both of us going relatively elite, and I think we were trying out units we wouldn't necessarily try normally. Like, I don't think Samurai normally would go, triple Temple Guard, but wants to see how they do in this new kind of attempted, like, capping system. It was pretty good fun. I think the thing to note is elite infantry will not all of a sudden become like a mega OP because of this. Like, they're going to be a lot better and a lot more viable in taking objectives, but they still have massive weaknesses, and their weaknesses are things like breath attacks, magic, air effect spells. All these kind of abilities can crush elite infantry very quickly, which often makes them a little bit too risky to bring to the battlefield. So this is kind of a nice compromise. Like, hey, you've got a good capture point, but there's also a risk to it that you could get obliterated. Although it would probably encourage a lot of mid-tier infantry, I think, to really thrive. Interesting to see your guys' thoughts, though. I'm not, like, sold one way or the other, but I'm always down for, like, experimenting with these type of things and seeing which one the majority of people enjoy the most. We got in some decent work, 1.8k of the Hellforged Host, 3,000 value of the Bloodthirster, did a really good job. 2.4 on Tehenwyn and 1.4 on the Star Chamber Guardians isn't bad by any means, but alas, it was not enough. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to leave a big fat juicy thumbs up. Feel free to subscribe to the channel as well to get more glorious content like this into the future. There's a bucket ton of links down below in the description. They are to Twitch, Patreon, and Discord. Massive shout out to all my Patreons as well as my YouTube members who keep the channel afloat. And my opponent today was Samurai Warrior of Clan Liego, which I'll leave a link in. Hopefully I've not butchered the name there. I probably have. It's an Italian YouTube channel. They're really awesome guys over there. And Samurai Warrior is one of the casters. They do a mixture of different content, including Total War Warhammer. So make sure to check them out. I'll leave a link either down below in the description. If I forget, I'll leave it in the comments. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Until next time, peace, peace. And as always, stay awesome.